The impeachment of the agriculture CS Mithika Linturi took a shocking new turn of events. Even the mover of the motion, Jack Kwamboka himself, has lost hope, and he has reported to the nation that this is an already predetermined case and it is heading nowhere. Lawyer Ahmednasir has added petrol into the fire by revealing that money has exchanged hands to the tune of 5 million. And according to him, he says that not even one, not even those who are allied to the Kenya Kwanza were left behind, because he says all of them took the money. Ladies and gentlemen, if the allegations are true, do we still have a country? Before I read you the tweet from Ahmednasir, I want us to look at what Jack Kwamboka is saying, because this was the move of the motion. This is the person who headed the Linturi must go motion. I want us to read just a little, then we go to Ahmednasir's tweet, where he's telling us that all the 11 committee members took 5 million Kenya shillings each. Jack Kwamboka storms out in dramatic closure of Linturi's impeachment hearing. And it says that as the curtains fell on the protracted Oster trial of Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mithika Linturi on Friday, the burden of determining his fate was transferred to the House. The 11-member select committee has now retreated for report writing and is expected to table it together with its verdict on the floor of the House for debate during a special sitting committee on Monday. Now, they said that during the sitting, MPs will evaluate the observations made by the committee by way of submissions and decide on whether to let Linturi off the hook or condemn him to political oblivion by sanctioning his ouster. But as the 3-day process came to an end on Friday, claims of an already predetermined verdict rocked the proceedings, with the mover of the motion, Bumula MP Jack Wamboka, I called him Kwamboka, he's Jack Wamboka, alleging a plot by committee to save Linturi from the guillotine. Okay, shortly after making his closing statement, Wamboka stormed out of the chambers, asserting that the committee's voting lines were clear given the rulings it had already made during the trial. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who listened to my earlier analysis, there was an already verdict that was made by the 11-member committee in whose hands Linturi's fate is lying. Apparently, Wamboka had invited or had submitted that he wanted PS in the Ministry of Agriculture, Honorable Rono, to come and testify. And there is another businessman that was supposed also to testify by the name Patel. Now, the committee looked at his request. 7 members of that committee voted no to the request. Only 4 from Azimio voted yes. And Jack Wamboka is asking a question based on that verdict alone, because PS Ron would have shedded more light on the events that have transpired ever since this saga came to play. And maybe that businessman would have really revealed quite a lot. But they realized that this was going to embarrass the CS, and it was going to add more weight into reasons why Linturi must be impeached, and so they refused. So Jack Wamboka is saying that he has lost hope, but he says that he still leaves Parliament chambers a very proud man, and he has assured the nation that there are very many ways of killing a rat and that they will pursue other means to ensure that Linturi is ousted. But if you ask me, this is a done deal. Now let us listen, or rather read, what Ahmednasir Abdullahi is alleging. Ahmednasir is saying that breaking news: 5 million times 11 members acquittal for Honorable CS Mithika Linturi by the Parliamentary Select Committee. That is Kenya for you. What a charade, an F charade there that is talking about. And if this is true, then we don't have a nation. Kindly subscribe to our channel. If you're watching us for the first time, click the notification bell. This will allow YouTube to notify you. Continue supporting the channel in any way you can. Ladies and gentlemen, if you ask me a question, I don't believe Ahmednasir. And I think there is a plot. Ahmednasir is setting a plot here because based on the voting pattern, 4 members from Azimio voted yes for the invitation of PS Rono, Principal Secretary Rono, and the businessman. But the other 7 voted no, denying them a chance. So if there is any money that has been given out, then this money has gone to the 7 members. Ahmednasir understands so well that Linturi is going to be acquitted, but he does not want to pick the bull by its horns. He wants the Azimio and Kenya Kwanza to share the blame game. Let us call a spade a spade. If Ahmednasir believes that Kenya Kwanza is corrupt, let him say so. I don't know why he is blowing hot and cold at the same time if there is a problem as a real Kenyan, because Ahmednasir is one person who has been talking about corruption in the judiciary, in the legislature, and in the national government. He should look at this government in the face and tell them as much. Let him not try to play some cards and hide them under the table. Let me ask you another question, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you think is the source of the 5 million times 11? Can someone help me with that that calculation very fast? I'm not good at math, but 5 million times 11, how much is that? You can calculate. Who do you think is the source of this money? Number one, it cannot be the Azimio fraternity. It cannot be a member of Azimio. This money can only come from members of Kenya Kwanza. And the number one suspect, and I'm basing my statement on the allegations, and I still call them allegations, that from Ahmednasir, if there is any money that was given out, it can only come from number one, Mithika Linturi himself, because he's the one who is fighting tooth and nail to get off the hook. So if there is anyone who bribed the members of the committee, then it can only be Mithika Linturi. Number two, it might have come from the top, because questions have been asked that the appointing authority is the president of the nation. And when Kenyans are crying out that we have some members of the cabinet who don't befit being in those positions, he is quiet and is defending them. If William Ruto wanted to kick out these members, then he would have done so. In my early analysis, and I still assert that even if we impeach Mithika Linturi, it will be a makeshift kind of feel-good moment that, we have impeached him. But that is not the permanent solution that we need here. We cannot cut off the branches of a tree and thinking that we have finished it. The problem must be uprooted. If you want to ensure that a tree dies a natural death, then you uproot it from the roots. Even if you impeach Mithika Linturi, that will be just one cabinet secretary. We have many others who are under the pressure of the executive. The appointing authority is still the same. You will kick out Linturi, you will be given another, even a worse Linturi. So to me, I don't think it is a solution. One would ask me then, what do we do? And the answer is yes, he can be impeached, but let us look for more ways of controlling the government. This has taken what we call a tribal turn because his tribe members had called for a press conference and they're saying he should be saved. Yet it has also taken, affiliation along party lines. We have a country that is very synonymous with bribery, even at the time when we need to save a nation. These are people who took almost 2 to 3 days debating. And I like Linturi's lawyer, Tiakulonku, some very difficult name, who he was trying to rubbish the allegations here and there. But then when we hear allegations of bribery, then we know we don't have a country. Okay, personally, if you ask me, I'm not so much surprised. Someone was telling me that during the campaigns, the Kenya Kwanza team never campaigned on a platform of fighting corruption. I remember too well, they campaigned on a platform of resuscitating our economy. While Raila was saying that he knew the loopholes that were being used as conduits of corruption, William Ruto never talked about corruption. In fact, the only time he talked about corruption was when he was alleging that corruption was being used to settle political scores. People like Rigathi Gachagua were saying that the DCI used to knock at his door very early in the morning to frustrate him because of his allegiance to William Ruto. And William Ruto kept on saying that his foot soldiers were being frustrated. And as such, they said that they were not going to use corruption to settle scores. And that is why all the cases that that were burdened on them were all dropped as a result of lack of the allegations of lack of proper investigations. And we know what happened during the Kimorera and Arod Dam. A lawyer complained that the office of the public prosecution is the one that is being used to perpetuate sabotage on cases that should at least help Kenya retrieve the monies that have been lost. And this is very shocking because you can imagine what Kenyans think. This will set a precedent because if this is true, anytime the parliamentarians will try to impeach anyone, it will take a tribal line, it will take political line, a political angle, and then bribery. This only means that one, this government is not very ready to fight corruption, and we should declare corruption. Let us just enjoy it until such a time when we will all be tired. Because, I mean, we cannot pretend that we have institutions that are fighting corruption. It means that the government is not ready to fight corruption. Number two, it means that there is state capture. Even parliament that we are depending on to help us fight corruption will not. There's state capture. They are part of it. The executive has captured the judiciary, the legislative arm of the government, the courts, the DCI, and everything. And it also means that in future, there is no hope for Kenya. That's why the other time I was telling you that I was shocked that a certain country chose Kenya as a place for benchmarking on corruption. You know, when you're benchmarking, you need to look for something or some country that has done exemplary in the area that you want to benchmark. You can imagine that some countries, because of the status of William Ruto at the international level, they feel that they can now benchmark for corruption or anti-corruption in the country. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is very serious. Jack Wamboka has given up on this, and Ahmednasir is saying people have taken money, and it is now a done deal. When that report comes, I can assure you that Linturi will be off the hook. And now, do you know what it means? Hapa sasa ndio ataongea mbaya, because they know they have the money, they have the authority, they have the numbers, they have everything. We don't have any hope. We should just declare corruption to be free. We practice corruption until such a time when everyone will be tired. I don't know whether you're as shocked as I am. That's my take.